Well, thank you for joining. How was Alaska, first of all?
Alaska was amazing. It's everything they say and more. Pictures does not do that place justice. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, you were there for work, I'm assuming?
No, I was actually there for pleasure. It's been my wife's bucket list item for a long time. She had to kind of talk me into taking a full week off, but it worked out and it was amazing. We did a lot of hiking and getting out, and that's beautiful.
I don't think the Aurora Borealis was here at this time in the year, is it? Like the Northern Lights?
But it's always like cloudy, so to hit it on a day where the clouds are now is really tough.
Got it. It sounds like you had a good time. I'm glad you're recharged. For us, it was like I'm in Canada, so it was our Thanksgiving weekend last weekend right now. So I had a bit of a 3-day break, so it's I'm amped to get back to this.
Yeah, very cool.
So the point of this, so thank you for coming along. The purpose of this podcast is to meet professionals, leaders in our construction industry, reporting, automation, and all these languages or key terms. It's not so familiar with all of them. I can tell from my personal experience the last couple of years. We had Slack and exact time and site docs, and that took a bit of time to get merged. And now with AI, I'm afraid that that gap is going to only further increase. Okay, so that is the purpose of it. Tell us about yourself.
Sure. My name is Brendon Stryhn. Of Stryhn LLC. We are based in central Minnesota, and we work throughout the state and beyond for the right projects. So my background goes back pretty far. I jumped into construction pretty much right out of high school, worked my way up through the field. I've done a wide variety from residential to large commercial and housing. Eventually working my way up to a senior project manager, doing large scale housing, $70 million projects. So I've done pretty much everything from a bathroom remodel to 12 stories, $70 million student housing, and everything in between. I have experience working across the country, everything from Manhattan, New York, to Los Angeles, and again, everywhere in between. So I've done a lot of team building, a lot of relationship building over the years, and technology has been a huge key to that success.
That's amazing to hear. Do you have one or two projects that stand out?
Yeah, we've got a lot of projects, I guess, that stand out. It's funny when I left being a PM for the larger companies, doing $50+ million apartment buildings, most of them postage stamps downtown Minneapolis primarily, and St. Paul here in Minnesota. And there were sites where we came in, demoed an old building, and we put up a 7 to 12 story building, basically in a lot pinched between other buildings. So, I mean, a lot of coordination, a lot of things like that.
That's amazing. So the reliance on communication or technological is heightened, if you could say.
It is for sure, and I'm trying to bring that same level over to our residential side, which has been a significant challenge, but we're making a lot of progress.
Beautiful. Okay, so then that was the first one. Because we have some talking points on past project. What challenges have you seen arise when teams resist adopting to new construction technologies?
Yeah, so I mean that's where do I start? I mean the problems are huge. I mean a lot of it's misinformation, outdated information, people working off the wrong sets of plans, missing spec updates, selling wrong products, and selling products that don't fit. Inefficiency of the information distribution is huge. There's a lot of times, like right now, we're currently working our way off Procore, but we've been on Procore. And the first thing I ask people when they call me and ask questions, well, did you look on Procore? A lot of waste of time on the phone, emails, text messages. When the information's already out there, they just have to go get it. Rework costs, when they miss information and then you build something, then you got to go back and rework it. That's extremely expensive. And then, of course, warranty issues. When people aren't using the technology properly, and then you got to go back 2 years later to fix something, and you don't have the picture that you were hoping you had. You don't have the submittal in there that you were hoping to have. You don't have the spec sheet, whatever it is. In the end, it just ends up costing you a lot of money, frustration, and headaches, of course, time.
Yeah, I get that. There was a previous caller that I had. One method he just adopted was, like in Japan, I believe, or my notes are all over. Like it's like, or with the trains, you give out information and they shout it back to you, right? So it's like both people, it's that communication link is right there. And sometimes between people, it can be there. But what I'm seeing is the technological aspect or Procore. I've used Procore once. There wasn't, I find, like a training mechanism. Does that make sense? Whereas Slack, they kind of gave you like a little to do, a list of how to communicate. But that's how do you like Procore generally?
I think of the platforms that are out there, it's probably the most user friendly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get around on Facebook, you can get around in Procore. The challenge with it is obviously, the architects, engineers, project managers are highly trained in it. I would say that most superintendents are trained enough to be dangerous. And by the time you filter down to the foreman, they barely know how to get into it. You send the invites, but they resist to use it. And I've been working with it now for over 10 years, about 12 years now. And it's just a challenge to get buy-in, especially from anyone from the superintendent down. Even the superintendents push back on it.
Wow. And do you have a reason why, or just do you look or your gut feeling?
I think they look at it as one more thing they have to do. You really have to sell them on the efficiency aspect of it, that in the end, it saves them time and that it makes their jobs easier and more efficient. But they're also dealing with the foremans that are very hesitant to use it. So, and a lot of them are getting older. Some of the more experienced superintendents are at an age where technology was not something they grew up with. And a lot of them still just fight it. But it has been getting better. Back 2013, 14. I mean, it was a serious challenge, but it's been getting better, but I mean, it's still a problem.
That's good. Your current priorities for the next 6 to 12 months. How do you plan on investing more tools, or do you think it's more still training with your current workforce, or do you feel like, because you touched point on resisting change or resisting another thing to do, because there's probably a safety kind of protocol they have to work on. They have to highlight, their production rates. They have to highlight, accessing drawings and so forth. Is there another step that you feel, or do you think that there should be one that kind of unifies them all, like a way to communicate between the three, four multiple kind of apps or programs that you use?
Estimating, bidding, change order management, schedules. I mean, we're going through our list. So our investment this year is we're switching over from Procore to Sage Project Management or Construction Management. And the reason why we're doing that is because we have more tools within the same platform. And it also communicates better with our accounting software than what Procore has. Procore is not really set up well to communicate with QuickBooks Online. And we've hesitated to move over to Sage Accounting because it's so complicated without having a top-notch, you know, um, accounting person in your office. It's very hard to make that change. Because I mean, right now for CRM, we've been on Excel spreadsheets. That's a problem we had to solve. We were losing leads, we were losing track of leads. Calls are coming in, they're getting scribbled on pieces of paper. We needed a place for CRM. PlanSwift is how we've been doing all of our takeoffs and estimating. Excellent program, but once again, disconnected. The takeoff software and Procore left a lot to desire. And we just had hesitation from our project managers to switch over to use it. So we're still using PlanSwift. Estimating has all been getting done on Excel spreadsheets. Again, Procore is a tool for that, but it's not great. It doesn't have the flexibility you need to really use it properly. So we've been doing those on Excel. Contracts have been sent into RocketSign, change orders on Excel spreadsheets and RocketSign. As I mentioned, all of our photo and PM management, Procore. As far as scheduling, we do them in Microsoft Project. We distribute through Procore. And then, of course, you got the old text, emails, and phone calls. So for us, a major investment is moving to the platform that I found that can incorporate the most of those things. And it doesn't incorporate all of it, but it's a significant improvement from where we're at today.
You know what you said when the last time we were mentioning, you were labeling all of the programs, and then the last one you had, it's still text, phone calls, and emails. So he's actually here in Toronto. He was one of the the first 11 schedulers for the World Trade Center. So when they were rebuilding the World Trade Center building, or when it had to be reconstructed, he was one of the first 11 schedulers, and he was there for until to get it back up. What he said was, "Listen, Sonny, in America, it's $1 trillion business, construction, trillion two, and 20% is lost in just data. right? I send one text message, one email, that one gets spread out to here. He's also trying to, like, me and him have had a couple lunches here and there, right? He's just like, there's so much wastage in here. If we can find out that if I have an idea and I want to communicate, there has to be a way, because that's 20 to 30% of $1 trillion business. We're talking billions. So like you said, it's $1 billion idea out there, right? It's just getting out there. And then having these conversations is what I believe is the best thing, because you use Sage, people use Jonas, there's different accounting softwares but everyone has their cup of tea, for lack of a better word, right?
That's correct. That's one of the things that I'm really hoping that AI will be allowed to help fix in the long run. We use AI too, but it's very helter skelter. You use it to help you with something or write something, or you use it to, comb through a spec book or something like that. But to have a central place for all this information, and I think people don't talk about too, is when you have turnover internally. Project manager leaves the company halfway through a project. Right now, what you do is you give them all the old emails, and a new project manager tries to get caught up. There is just not one central place where all that information sits, and there's so many different methods of communication. I mean, it's overwhelming.
I have a question. Do you think the project managers have more information or the project coordinators?
Both, but I mean, the project manager is the one responsible for distribution of information.
Yeah, okay.
Where the project coordinators are more, you know, filing and that sort of thing. And I
Yeah.
think that in a more And that's the other thing I think too. I believe that if we had a system that everything was centralized like that, project coordinators could do more. It'd be easier for them to take a more active role in the distribution of that information.
Okay. Because I'll tell you this, I work right now daily. Like that's why I'm on site right now. As a project manager, I'm a senior project manager. This construction is just a passion of mine. That's why I had my super just call me once or twice here. But I tell my coordinators to send me information, like just copy me, just copy me, just copy me, and I spend time filing it. It's a lot of wasted time because I'm afraid that the coordinators, like I'm much more footed in my position, or like I know I'm a project, I got to finish this. I want to see to the end. Where the coordinators, I don't want to say there's a bit of a revolving door, but for so I overlook coordinate in a sense because I know it's top down, but they are very integral. What thing is like my and I should have started this. One of the reasons why I started this podcast is because January is having a little, you know, not family, but like a thing with all the project managers and the coordinators. We're out for dinner, and one of the guys were just spitballing on how we can do better for this year. And the surveyor who wants to be a project coordinator, he goes, Sonny, we're not going to be replaced by AI. We're going to be replaced by people who understand AI. And the coordinators and the generation, because my son's 11, and he's just information like I'm learning from him, so it's we have to catch up to speed, for lack of a better word. When technology upgrades, okay, so we actually talked about this, defining success. If you had to fully embrace technology on your projects, what do you think success would look for your business in terms of time, cost, and efficiency? Just, I know we kind of touched upon it, but if you had, let's say, a magic wand, not from an operational point of view, not from you're talking about leads and so forth, but from an operation or just a magic wand, what you have the set of plans, what do you think as an owner, AI could help you with?
I think that's two questions. I think what I view success as, again, is single platform that can solve all my needs. And the bigger thing though is just buy-in on the technology we already have from all team members, including outside team members, subcontracting partners, material vendors. So buy-in for sure is my vision of success. And like I said, I've been working on that for over a decade, and it's a serious challenge. And I think, what was the second question?
Like a magic wand. It's like time, cost, and efficiency. Buy-in, you want the field, like the tradesmen or workers or the people actually executing the project here, whatever you would like to call them. That's the beauty of construction. We need them, right? To actually complete the work. If you had no issues with that, what do you feel as an owner that your construction company or your company can be better at from a standpoint? Is there an automation aspect from a cost efficiency, or just time or cost essentially?
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head before when you said your employee said that it wouldn't replace people, because I've actually found that some of this technology requires more people. It's more people to shuffle the information, get it entered, get it distributed. So for me, if I had that magic wand to wave, once you get that buy-in, I mean, the reality is that even though you might have a couple more staff members to manage it all, really what ends up happening is you end up with less warranty work and, more importantly, less rework. And, if you look at the bottom line, I mean, you're talking 2 to 5% on any given project between rework and, warranty work. So, and that all goes hand in hand with client satisfaction. What's the number one thing that clients, struggle with beyond schedule? It's when you got to go back and redo things again. And when you got to
Yeah.
go back in 2 years and fix stuff. I mean, it all plays into each other, and it hits the bottom line pretty hard.
Yeah. Measure twice, cut once, essentially. Okay, I think I didn't want to take up too much of your time. This is exactly what I wanted. A couple of touch points. This is some great content. I'm gonna need about 3-4 days to edit everything. Like I said, AI is great in that regard. Do you mind if once I'm done editing, I can send it to you? We have a little follow-up call. Is that possible once I'm done? Any comments, questions? Was this experience as much as you hope it to be? Just to have a conversation with somebody we just met through email, right?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I had no idea what to expect. So I mean, it's been cool, and I love meeting other people that love the industry as much as I do. I'm a workaholic, but I enjoy it. It's
Yeah.
not only my work, it's my passion. It's what I enjoy doing. And no, it's awesome to meet people and network with people like you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brandon. I know.